Alright, so today I'm going to do a shot from Savannah music video called Fallen Star. We're going to do a VFX breakdown of this shot you see before you. This is what it looks like with the effects on it. So this like cool celestial being here. But this is what it looked like before. So this is the shot that we're going to go ahead and turn into that. So the first thing you're going to see is that the walls here are not infinite, which is what we wanted for the main shots. So I knew when we filmed it that we were going to be replacing these walls. So that would be the first thing we can do. So what I did is I took a screenshot of this right here of how they're standing, and then I removed the walls, and I also made the beam of light infinite as well as the walls. That shot is right here. So this is what it looked like. It's not perfect, but it will do what we need it to do. So we'll drag that below. And what we do first is we're just going to mask out these walls here on the side. The girls don't actually get close to this area, so it's actually easy to mask out. There was some scenes where the girls were on this side of the wall, and I had to go in and mask them out frame by frame, which was fun, but I'm not going to show you that today because that's very time consuming. But what I will do is go ahead and mask out these walls. Alright, so we did that, and all we have to do is subtract it instead of add. Boom. And then I do the feathering to 50. And voila, we now have that wall gone. So we do the same thing on this side real quick. Alright, now do subtract and do the same thing with the feathering 50. Boom. We now have infinite wall. But if you notice that the light level is not quite what it needs to be. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is try to match that as best as possible. And it's good. That'll do. That'll work. This one's a little brighter, but I don't think it's going to be too much of a problem. Anyway, so the next thing that we're going to have to do is remove the quasars, the little black pieces here, because it wasn't one tube, it was 4 lights. So I have to go through and remove all of these frame by frame. So you'll get a taste of what it would be like if the girls were covering this wall and what I would have to do, because that's what I have to do to remove these. So I'll go ahead and time lapse this so you don't have to see. But before doing that, I'll explain my technique of masking something out like this. So make sure you click on the video and then go ahead and just start adding. I like to add a lot of little points because I never know what I may need. Anyway, so starting out, go ahead and clean it up just a little bit. What I like to do when I'm masking something out, instead of doing frame by frame, that's just ridiculous. I like to move forward and watch for motion. So see, she's moving her hand now, so we know we can go about right here, and we can move kind of all these points with her, and then you see we went pretty far ahead in the timeline. Was this whole gap here. And you're going to be amazed at how much time you will save if you do this little trick. So we do that. So see, now we have all of this space. All you have to do is like go in the middle here, and then you just tighten it up. You don't have to do it frame by frame because you will hate your life if you do that. I'd hate mine if I had to do that, because I did have to do that a little bit on some of the other masking. But anyway, but you see, you're letting the computer do most of the work for you. You can just go in every other frame and fix it. Oh, that one may actually be good. Yep. So, not perfect. Actually, no, that's pretty good. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and speed the rest of this up, and then I'll come back once we get it done. Alright, so I did want to go ahead and add this. So now that I have this masked out pretty well, I'm just going to go in and then do subtract, and then I'm going to feather it by 8, and then I just like to do a little expansion because this is a beam of light, and when we finish it there will be rays, so it's kind of okay if her hand looks like she's kind of like disappearing into the light because we're going to have rays of light anyway, so it's going to cover it anyway. But yeah, so I'm going to continue masking and then we'll come back. Okay, now we have all of the quasar, the black parts of the lights all masked out, so now it looks like it's one infinite light. So yeah, so you can imagine if I had to do frame by frame for when the girls are on the side over here where the wall is, yeah, it's a lot of fun. But anyway, so we want to add in this beam of light. So we have this light here, but it's kind of just bland, boring. If you look in the main shot, it looks like it's like rays of light coming between like their legs here, and then like the actual beam of light itself has like this glow effect to it. So we want to add all of those elements in. And it's actually really easy. So we just take both of the main shots here, we duplicate them, and we're going to pre-compose them and move everything into the composite, and we're going to call this lights. So boom, so we have that. So we're going to turn these off real fast, and we're going to use Luma key, which is apparently obsolete, but I love it. So I'm sure there's a new tool that does exactly what it does, but you know what? Creature of habit. Here we go. So we want to go ahead and key out the dark. So we're just going to go ahead and start keying darkness out, and we just want to get it to the point where it's just that beam of light. That's it. About right there should be good. So we have that. So the other thing I'm going to go ahead and do, which is also obsolete, just use a fast blur. And I think I had this up to like 60. Boom. Okay, so we have that. So what I want to do is duplicate this 5 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Take the bottom one and remove the fast blur. Boom. So we have this like lightsaber effect. And since we moved everything into it, moved both shots into it, and just took out all of everything but the light, the girls will now walk in front of this light and it will adjust accordingly. It's kind of a little cool trick. But anyway, so I'm going to composite all of these, or I'm going to compose them, sorry, and I'm just going to call them lights, or sorry, light, because this is going to be our one singular light. But we still want to add those rays that I was talking about that kind of like shine through here. So if you watch in between them, there's like rays of lights that kind of peek through and peek around them. So what we want to do there is I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this, and I'm going to call this light rays. And then I'm going to take another, it's just right here, the CC radial fast blur. So we're going to take that, we're going to toss it right on top of there. Then we're going to increase this to, I believe it was 95. And then I'm going to move the center mass here down so I get those rays between them. There we go, kind of shine down to the ground. So now we have these rays of light that kind of peek through around them, which is kind of cool. Makes the light effect look like it's naturally in the scene. So if I turn all of this off, now you can see those rays of light will adjust as they move. As I said, kind of a cool little effect. And I've used this effect on a couple other videos. One of them actually I probably will show a breakdown of it as well. But anyway, moving on. So now we have that. The next thing that I want to go ahead and add into the scene is we were shooting in a concrete room, but the floors weren't wet, so we don't have any nice reflections. You can see their shadows, but you don't really see a reflection. And in the main shot, there is a reflection because I wanted that like glossy, like beautiful look or whatever. But anyway, so it's very simple. We're just going to go ahead and take both of these main shots and we're going to duplicate them. We're going to compose those, and we're just going to call it reflect. If I can not spell. Boom. Anyway, so now we have this, and what we'll need to do with our reflections, we're going to want to flip it horizontally, and then we're going to rotate it. Like such. Drag it down, and I like the beam of light to be in a very specific spot. I did it on all the shots, so we're just going to leave it about right there. So, alright, so now what we're going to do is we're just going to turn this off for the masking. So I want it to kind of just be where their feet are. So let's go ahead and do this. Start the masking here. Just like that. So we'll turn that on, and it's going to look really weird. But what we're going to do is I take the mask, and I like to feather it out to about 150. And then I like to bring down the opacity to 50. Which still doesn't look like reflections. It looks kind of like water almost. It needs to be more blurry. So we're going to just take this fast blur again, and we're going to toss it right on the reflect. And we do, I think we do like 60. No, maybe a little too much. Maybe it was like 55. Yeah, we'll do 50. There you go. See, now it has this like very subtle reflection. But I also wanted to kind of go a little step further, and I wanted the light beam to be a little more dominant in the reflection. So we're just going to duplicate the light beam, and we're going to call this one light reflects. And we're going to move it down just above the reflection. Same thing. So we'll take that, and we're going to flip it horizontally. Then we're going to rotate it. So we'll line it up with the other light there, the little blurry light you see. Probably about there. I think that was right. Yeah, maybe just a little higher. All right, so we take that, and we're going to do the same thing. We don't have a mask on it, but what we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and change the opacity to 50, and we'll take that same fast blur, and we'll add it onto that. Boom. So now we got a little more enhanced light reflection. Yeah, so it looks good. All right, so now the next thing that we can go ahead and add to the scene is the smoke element, which I think is more like an atmosphere kind of effect. So this one, I may not line it up just perfectly as I did in the original. I actually spent quite a bit of time making sure that the atmosphere is perfectly in there. This, for the sake of just showing you, I'm just going to put them in there and then kind of play around with them. So we want it to be already started and already kind of a lot of smoke. So maybe about right there should be good. And then we're just going to scale this up pretty intensely, like probably about right there. Actually, that's looking pretty good. We don't want it to go too above the light, but we want it just enough so it kind of kisses the light, because it'll create this, like, once the color and everything's on it, it's going to interact really well. So we'll do that. Then we'll go ahead and add in the second atmosphere. Then we got to do the same thing. Just find that good starting point that we want. I think this one was a little thicker in some areas, so we don't want it to be too crazy. Let's see. Maybe about right there. No, that's starting to dissipate. Okay, so actually we'll pull it back. And we'll size this up. This one I'm pretty sure I had to make kind of pretty large. Then let's flip it. Like so. Oops. Now we need to bring it back into the shot. Yeah, okay. That's not bad. This one's a little more opaque, so I actually think I'm going to go ahead and bring that down just a little bit. So let's do, so it kind of matches that one. Perfect. Okay, so now we need to kind of start color grading and start matching everything into this. So I did end up putting, I used a lot of different little things. I colored everything individually to make it look cleaner and better, like make their skin tone pop just a little bit more. I colored the atmosphere, I colored the lights, everything. So I have those all saved. I'm not going to try to match it, but I will show you what I did to it. So we'll do the skin tones first. So this is what the shot looked like, and I have it saved right here, skin fix. So if you notice, I kind of I made the skin tone pop out a little bit more. This is now more of a white, magenta, or pink colors, and the floor is also kind of not so skin tone colored. All I did was I just removed saturation and played with the reds and the oranges to kind of make that happen. And I also brightened the shot up because it was kind of dark. Anyway, so that's what we did. And I actually have to add the same thing to the effect shot here, the background, so it all matches. So there we go. So now this is kind of what it's looking like so far. So the next thing we need to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and add the color to the atmosphere. So I'll go ahead and add the looks, which I'm pretty sure I saved the preset for that as well. Let's see. Yep. Smoke. Did that. All right. And then I had a hue and saturation. The only downfall is looks is you can't always see what you're color grading into the shot. So this, I just do little adjustments to fix it. So let's see. I did plus 52 or 42. Sorry. Plus 42 and 0, 18. Boom. So there we go. And then I added a glow effect. So that, and then we did, let's see. This was number 64 and 1. Boom. All right. So that gives it a little bit, it makes it stand out a little bit more. All right. So now we just need to minimize all of this, and we're going to copy it and paste it right onto the other atmosphere. Boom. Okay. So the smoke is done. So I did go ahead and add a color grade to the light as well, the beam back there, because I'm pretty sure it's just white right now. And we want it to match more of the tone that we got. So I'm pretty sure I just end up using the same thing as the smoke element for the color. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Let's see, yep, Savannah smoke, boom. So now we want to do the hue and saturation. Same thing as we did with the smoke, just because we can't really control making it fit perfectly into the scene in looks. So this is just how I touch it up. There's easier ways, I know it, and people are gonna be like, oh, why you do it that way? But it's just how I do it. As I said, creature of habit. So 31 and negative 31 and 23. Okay. Boom. All right, so I'm pretty sure that's all I did to that. So we'll take both of those and put it on the light rays. Actually, I think that needs to be above the radio. There we go. Like such. And then we want to add it to the light reflect as well, but we'll take that. Boom. All right. So we're getting closer. So I think all that's really left to do now is the actual main color grade. I do believe. It's just going by so fast. Anyway, so let's go ahead and use an adjustment layer, and we're going to place it just underneath the cinescopes there. I like to add those. We're just going to add that, and let's go ahead and bring looks in. And this one, I'll give it a little more in-depth breakdown because I saved the look because I didn't want to try to match it. That would just be a nightmare sitting here trying to match what I did when I already have it. Boom. Okay. So I'll turn it all off and I'll explain everything, I guess. Cool. So the first thing that I did is I added this little star filter. I just thought it was cool. It gives this like little shimmery effect, and as they move through the lights, it gives this like kind of glisten effect to it. And it also, as they get closer in some of the other shots, the glitter on them sparkle and glisten too due to that. And then I want to go ahead and add a little more haze to it, so I used the haze flare, and I just put the colors the same as everything else in the scene. Then I just did some like contrast brightening, you know, doing the curves and everything. And then as you noticed, I think the skin got a little too red, right? So I ended up bringing that down and making it match a little more into the scene, minimizing the redness because it was pretty crazy. And then I did like some simple little color grading, not anything crazy, just brought more the pinkness into the shots. Yeah, so there you go. So that's how I did it. I don't know if you have any questions, let me know. I'm going to do a lot more videos like this, but yeah, so that's that. So here we go. I can render that real quick and watch it. All right, so here we go. That's all rendered out, and this is what we got. But yeah, so let me show you one more time, so here it is with all the effects on it, and then I'm gonna go ahead and just show you what it looks like before and after one more time. Just remove everything off of this, and remove the masks. Boom, okay, so this is what it looks like with the effects, and with the effects off. Anyway, thank you for watching.